The Silver Age of comics occurred between 1956 and 1970, and is seen as one of the wackiest, campiest times for comic books. The golden age of comic books came to an end after World War II, when popularity for fictional heroes saving the day became an unrealistic fantasy after the bleak reality that events like the Holocaust and atomic bomb brought forth. Comics in the horror, crime, and romance genre had also lost a foothold in the industry, thanks to the Comics Code Authority that attempted to censor and regulate comics in 1954, in order to make them more appropriate and not corrupt young feeble readers' minds. Comics were even blamed for the rise in juvenile crime statistics at the time, although the escalation was in direct correlation with the increase in population growth. Because of these changes, many existing superheroes were dumbed down, made campier, and as a result started incorporating storylines that were more absurd, all to keep creativity alive while falling in line with these censorship rules. While many of the Silver Age stories that came out of DC during that time are by no means groundbreaking, they have given us something, a wacky history for comic fans to chuckle over and appreciate, among many other things. So today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 weirdest DC Silver Age moments. And at number 10, Superman's Saddest Day. The cover alone makes this issue a total gem. This, my friends, is Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, Volume 1, Issue 125 from 1969. As you can see, Superman says to Jimmy, "Jimmy, what kind of pal are you? How can you laugh at this heartbreaking movie?" To which the redhead responds, "Don't ask questions, just keep crying, Superman. Every teardrop is precious to me." Now, to be fair, Silver Age Jimmy Olsen is a bit of a psycho who was obsessed with Superman and often acted as if he had a crush on the Man of Steel, brandishing very phallic imagery from time to time while declaring his adoration for the world's greatest. Now, the plot of this comic doesn't help much either. Jimmy finds the lost prophecy of Nostradamus, in which it describes that if he collects tears from a king and clown from a killer and Kryptonian of renown, and mixes them together, he will gain a power unknown to man. And what is this power? Well, it creates an atomic explosion. As you can imagine, many of Jimmy's storylines in the Silver Age ended just like this, with the ginger sidekick often having things backfire for him and requiring Superman to bust him out of a tight spot. But not busting him out of the tight spot that he really wanted. Oh, I'm so sorry. And at number 9, the living torpedo. Speaking of phallic objects, that kind of imagery was consistently present in Wonder Woman titles of the Silver Age and Golden Age. This one, though, comes from Wonder Woman issue 124, Volume 1 from 1961. The foe in this issue for Diana and the Wonder family is the shape-shifting Multiple Man, who decides that he's going to transform into the living torpedo and crash into the island that the Amazons call home. Let's take a look at 4 panels in particular, though. The narration reads, "In a voice which can only be described better as something felt, like an icy wind blowing against one's face." And as you can see, the living torpedo, looking phallic as ever, announces, "Whatever I want, I take. Whatever stands in my way, perishes. Nothing can stop me." Don't know about you guys, but the emphasis on those words is slightly concerning given the way that the living torpedo has been drawn. Gross. The torpedo then crashes into the women of the Wonder family, their legs flying up in the air in an unfortunately suggestive manner. Or at least suggestive for the 2 that are actually above legal age limit. Cringe. If that isn't gross enough, take a look at this later panel when Wonder Tot uses the power of a massive vagina, giant clam, to take on the living torpedo. Like, come on, look at those drawings. You can't tell me the subtext ain't alive and well there. Luckily, Diana saves the day when Multiple Man turns into a T-Rex, says the same stuff about nothing can stop him, blah blah blah, and then gets electrocuted. Moving on. In at number 8, Superman is a dick. During the Silver Age, Superman had a bit of a reputation of being a dick. Usually he would act like a complete asshole because he was under the control of some force or villain or what have you, but often his treatment of Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen was nonchalant and rude at best. This issue, though, is actually all just a dream. Lois is accidentally hit with a villain's ray weapon that bounces off of Superman's body. She then dreams that Superman is a dick. What's new? And that she's thrown into another dimension in which she ends up becoming the bride of this terrifying looking motherfucker named Titan Man, who apparently is the hero of that realm despite the fact that he looks like he's part of a satanic dominatrix cult. Turns out, he's got 7 other wives and Lois is number 8, and they're about to get married, forcibly. He's all about polygamy, which is legal on this planet but clearly an evil horrible thing in real life, or at least back in 1967. Titan Man tells her what she can expect from their daily married life, including this little gem in which after he tells her that she'll be 8th in line for everything, Lois panics that food never reaches number 8 and that I'll starve. Glad that that's your, number 1 priority and thing to be worrying about about Lois. To be fair, you know, starving's not fun. Tiny Man then tells her that for the ceremony he's going to tranquilize her to calm her down. Great way to start a marriage. The best part is the cover of this issue of Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane shows Clark announcing, "Serves you right for choosing him over me, Lois. Marry him, dick." And at number 7, Ant-Man Superman. No, this is not an Ant-Man Marvel DC Superman crossover. So, we all know what kryptonite does, or at least green kryptonite. It's Superman's weakness. In addition to green kryptonite though, there's multiple other kinds and colors that have different effects on Kryptonians, other than, you know, weakening them and getting them sick or flat out killing them, or giving them cancer. One of those strains of kryptonite is red kryptonite, which during the Silver Age was known to bring about strange mutations. It was sort of a plot device for writers who wanted to use it to bring about and justify whatever wacky storyline that they were cooking up. And this is a prime example of that. Introducing Ant-Man Superman. It's Superman, but with an ant's head. When giant evil red ants from outer space land on Earth, they kidnap Lois Lane and Superman goes to save her. But while on his mission, he flies through a cloud of red kryptonite, causing his head to mutate into an ant's head. Turns out this was all for the best because with his new ant head, he's able to communicate with space ants, who, turns out, were here to help the Earth instead of invade it. Oh, phew, thank God. Superman informs the UN, the ants go home, and all is well. Oh, the Silver Age. And at number 6, Aquaman dries out. Here we have a prime example of DC's Silver Age absurdity. Aquaman dries out. The dude who's known for being an aquatic superhero to the point where it is literally a part of his name, dehydrates. Oh, the joy. In Adventure issue 256 from 1959, criminals capture Aquaman and leave him to die in a desert. Talk about sadistic? The entirety of the story sees Aquaman struggling to get back to the ocean. But the most ridiculous aspect of this narrative is towards its end, when Aquaman spots the smugglers, but still requiring more water, hides in a barn. Topo, his octopus pal from the Silver Age, shows up and Aquaman commands them to milk the cows inside of the barn. Not only is the image of Topo milking a cow a bit too uncanny for our liking, this results in Aquaman using the collected milk to take a milk bath in order to rejuvenate himself and muster the strength to fight the criminals. Kinda sounds like he's just being a diva, considering there was actual water just right outside of the barn. He could have just like jumped over into the water and then a second later been like, bam, I'm Aquaman, gonna fight you guys now. Nope, he just wanted that milk bath. And at number 5, the Rainbow Batman. The Rainbow Batman has become quite the meme these days, to the point where you can actually buy Rainbow Batman action figurines based off this issue. Now if you've never seen this cover of Detective Comics Volume 1, issue 241 from 1957 before, well, you're in for a treat. On the cover, Robin says, "But Batman, last night you wore the green costume, and tonight you're wearing the red? Why?" To which his mentor, batshit insane, replies, "I must, Robin. I must wear a different colored Batman costume each night." If Frederick Wortham and the Comics Code Authority were afraid that Batman came off as a little queer back in the Golden Age, oh boy had the writers and pencilers for this issue shown them in the Silver Age. Bless their hearts. Anywho, this fashion-forward Bruce Wayne kind of comes out of nowhere. The story begins with Robin hunting down some nearly homicidal robbers after, as Dick Grayson, he saves a girl's life from them and injures his arm. Meanwhile, Batman is too busy obsessing over his wardrobe. After Robin does all of the legwork and finds these criminals, Batman swoops in and saves the day. He then tells Robin that he was wearing his special costumes to draw attention to himself and away from Robin, since Robin had a busted arm and so did Dick Grayson, and maybe people might realize who Robin's secret identity was because of this. Right, yeah, sure Bruce, we totally believe you. You just want to wear a pink batsuit. And at number 4, Lion-Headed Superman. If our Ant-Man Superman number didn't give it away, Superman had a whole lot of strange transformations during the course of the Silver Age. This included the time where he turned into a half-lion. Yes, that is a thing that happened. Meet the Lion-Headed Superman courtesy of Action Comics issue 243. With the head and paws of a lion and arguably everything else of a man's, he's wearing a costume. For heaven's sake, we don't know. This image has become an iconic one as far as the Silver Age is concerned. The story involves Superman drinking mineral water that turns him into a lion man. A trick played on him by Cersei because he refuses to marry her. All women are devilish tricksters when you refuse to marry them, right? Yeah, thanks Silver Age. Anywho, his lion head doesn't change much. He's still up to his same heroic business, except everyone is like, whoa, who's this lion in Superman's costume? And what's perhaps even better is the issue's incredibly anticlimactic resolution. Supes goes to the Fortress of Solitude, digs up a book that he has in the library there that has a recipe for an antidote to cure his lion-headedness, and everything ends up going back to normal. That's it. And at number 3, Wonder Woman Amazon Babysitter. Dinosaurs and strange monsters were a pretty common occurrence in Wonder Woman comics throughout the Silver Age. It's the whole Amazon thing really. Really opens the door to the mythical and strange. Anywho, this issue is from Wonder Woman issue 90 from 1957. It's not Wonder Woman saving the day per se. Rather, she's fulfilling a bet in order to win money from some millionaires at the Millionaires Club to donate to charity. So yeah, I guess in a technical sense she is still being heroic. But this bet requires her to babysit what the comic declares as 3 of the most startling babies in history. This includes pushing a baby T-Rex around in a carriage. There's a whole panel where she's tickling the T-Rex as well. The other creatures she babysits are an elephant, gets a little bit handsy with his trunk to be honest, and a baby whale, which also takes a turn into Strangeland when the whale tongues her as a thank you. And at number 2, Fat Flash. The concept of the fastest man alive, who has an extreme metabolism that causes him to eat significant amounts of food so that he doesn't burn out energy, being fat, is actually pretty darn funny, and it's something that the Silver Age Barry Allen experienced. Introducing the Flash Volume 1, issue 115 from 1960, and the story, The Day Flash Weighed 1,000 Pounds. In this issue, Gorilla Grodd takes over the body of a human named William Dawson in Central City. Here, he created a device that will increase the Flash's weight to 1,000 pounds. Dawson shoots the Flash while he's running by, somehow, which knocks him out and gives him amnesia. So what does Grodd/Dawson do then? He kidnaps the Flash and then gives him away to a circus freak show, where guests make fun of him for being fat. That's one way to make your more overweight readers feel great about themselves, DC. Everybody is a good body. After Flash gets his memory back, he heads over to a dehydration plant to remove all of his excess water weight, where he sits surrounded by what looks like a mountain of potatoes with an unsatisfied look on his face. Yeah, we feel you, Barry. We feel ya. And last but not least, in at number 1, Bat Baby. The only thing that can top Fat Flash is Bat Baby, the story in Batman's comics that truly represents everything the Silver Age was about. Insane circumstances, panels that contain absurd images, and characters who were oh so passive and accepting about all the weird crap that was going on around them. The premise of this story, from Batman issue 147 volume 1 from 1962, is, you guessed it, Batman is turned into a baby. I mean, actually he's turned into a 4-year-old toddler when a criminal scientist shoots a baby ray at him. Baby ray, just think about that for a sec. Batman is like, hey, no sweat off my back, I might be little but I can still kick crime's butt. Because he has all the same strength and intelligence that his grown man self did, which makes perfect logical sense, don't worry about it, move on. Except there is one crucial flaw, which is not what you think it would be, all things considered. The flaw is that he doesn't fit into his bat uniform. Robin needs to carry him around a lot, with Batman even saying, Robin, I never thought there'd be a time when you'd have to carry me in your arms like a baby. I'm sorry, why would you, Bruce? Why would you ever have to think like that? Just saying, you're a little gay. And at no point is Robin like, hey, maybe I should stop this 4-year-old child from fighting dangerous criminals. Nah, instead he's just like perplexed most of the time in this comic. Also, can we just like really briefly touch on the fact that baby Batman in a saggy batsuit is downright terrifying? Just saying. It's not an image I would ever want to, you know, like, see for real. Alright, there we have it. How insane was the Silver Age? It's a little baffling at times to see what DC editors were willing to let through story-wise, but oh, was it a very different time. If you'd like us to do a part 2 of this list, please give us a shout in those comments below. There are oh so many hilarious and wonderful comics from the Silver Age and DC's past that we didn't even scratch the surface of on this list. So there's a whole lot more that we'd love to share with you all if you guys want to see part 2. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and hey, why not subscribe? We'd love it if you hung out with us some more. In the meantime though, thanks for watching friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.